Jade Cargill just really spiced things up for herself, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's new with Rhea Ripley and Sami Zayn, starting things off with Jade Cargill and this newly added change to her WrestleMania program with Rhea Ripley. Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley came out once again for another promo battle segment. There's been a lot of promo battles all over the card this year on the road to WrestleMania. Roman and Punk have had the most of these verbal exchanges, and every single one of their segments includes several huge jabs and moments that keeps fans talking for the entire week. Similar thing for Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. We've seen them exchange some words and big things are happening there in that story. And even with Liv Morgan and Stephanie, things got personal there with some deep verbal blows. But unfortunately, Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley's promo battles haven't really connected well with the audience, and there hasn't been much substance there with those few promo segments. The biggest buzz Rhea and Jade generated for their WrestleMania match was with their social media exchange, but these last few in-ring promo battles have not really landed the direct punch. There's not much for us to really sink our teeth into there and deeply talk about. It's a big match on paper that unfortunately is lacking in the story department. We know both women are fighting for the title, but there's no real story behind the matchup. The promo battles so far have just consisted of them slinging the B word back and forth to each other, and not much else really going on there. This is the Women's Championship, one of the top prizes in the women's division, with two big stars in the match, and it's just surprising that there's no real story in place there for such a big match on the WrestleMania stage. The March 20th edition of Smackdown also featured Jade Cargill dropping a line about how she doesn't care about the championship, the fans, or wrestling, and how she doesn't need any of those things at all. Which again, some fans found it a bit weird that the whole point of this segment is supposed to hype you up for the WrestleMania title match, but here you got the champion saying that she doesn't care about the title and doesn't need it. So why should we get hyped for this title match when the champion is pretty much diminishing her own championship? That was a line there that fans were just a little thrown off by. But then that brings us to the next big twist of the segment. Jade Cargill makes her way up the ramp to leave Rhea Ripley in the ring, and Mia Yim and B-Fab suddenly appear at the entrance stage, taunting Jade Cargill and looking like they're getting ready to pounce on her. But once they get close to Jade Cargill, the shocking twist is that Jade has actually formed an alliance with B-Fab and Mia Yim. So the three of them surround Rhea Ripley before they all ended up attacking her. This twist was teased the week prior, where Jade Cargill was seen backstage talking to B-Fab, and they walked off together, which heavily hinted at the idea that Jade Cargill was recruiting B-Fab. And here on this week's episode of Smackdown, we see that B-Fab was successfully recruited by Jade Cargill, and Mia Yim was even pulled into the alliance as well. Some fans are seriously questioning the logic of Jade Cargill's new faction, because even though they did tease it 1 week in advance, some fans still think that it doesn't make that much sense in the overall bigger picture. Ever since Jade Cargill won her title back in November, her main rivals were B-Fab and Mia Yim. That's who Jade Cargill has been going up against over the last few months. Jade Cargill actually seriously hurt both B-Fab and Mia Yim and put them both on the shelf for a bit with injuries. Jade Cargill brutalized them, injured them, was just all over them over the last few months. But now Mia Yim and B-Fab want to suddenly team up with their abuser to take on Rhea Ripley, who hasn't done anything to them in recent memory. The logic there is a bit questionable, and it's understandable why that is bothering some fans right there. Would be more acceptable if maybe Jade grabbed some upcoming heels in the division and got them to join forces with her. But for the two women who have been fighting hard against Jade Cargill over the last months, to just suddenly team up with her out of nowhere, that does feel strange. Rhea Ripley did not wrongfully cut in front of them in line. Rhea won the chamber, she earned her opportunity the right way. So they can't be upset over that reason. Mia Yim took to her Instagram stories over the weekend to try and attempt to add some more context to her heel turn. Mia Yim posted pictures all the way back from 2023 of Rhea Ripley and Judgment Day brutally attacking Mia Yim herself, AJ Styles, and the OC. Mia Yim says she hasn't forgotten about what Rhea did all those years ago, so she's seeking revenge and standing up for AJ Styles and the OC. Which is a valid point. Mia Yim does not want to let Rhea Ripley off the hook for hurting her way back in 2023. But in the same breath, Mia Yim is kind of letting Jade Cargill off the hook for beating her down just a few months ago. So it doesn't really make sense, can't really think about it that hard, because it is pro wrestling after all, so nothing really makes perfect sense. But that decision to randomly pair Jade Cargill up with those two after their heated rivalry with each other does have fans feeling very confused. Some fans have even brought up how the formation of this faction is a bit contradicting to some of the things Jade Cargill has said in recent weeks. Jade has noted that she doesn't need any outside help, how she gets everything done herself, but now less than 2 weeks later, she has recruited backup and reinforcements to handle Rhea Ripley. Even though the story and logic behind their formation is a bit flawed, the fact that Jade Cargill is now leading a faction does add another element of spice to this entire program, because now Rhea Ripley can no longer get up close and personal with Jade Cargill. Now Jade Cargill will be protected by her 2 faction members, so it gives Jade Cargill an extra layer of protection, while giving Rhea another obstacle to her path on the road to WrestleMania. As far as the next step goes, fans are wondering if Rhea Ripley will now go and get some reinforcements of her own. If this is going to break out into a 3-on-3 situation, we know Rhea just has to make a call to Io Sky and she'll be there in a heartbeat for Rhea. And then from there, Rhea would have to find just one more woman to bring along into her own group to cancel out Jade's group. Maybe someone that has had serious issues with Jade in the past. Jordynne Grace stands out as a good possibility there to help Rhea in that fight. The only unfortunate part there with that idea is that Grace recently suffered an ankle injury, but that's still a path right there for this feud either way. Jade Cargill now has the numbers advantage against Rhea Ripley, and we're to assume that B-Fab and Mia Yim will likely get involved in the title match at WrestleMania as well. So it's all going to come down to how Rhea Ripley will fight back against that, and what tricks Rhea Ripley has up her sleeve there for Jade and this new faction. Sami Zayn's story finally progressed this week in a new way that didn't include him just yelling and throwing a water bottle backstage. He was having a match against Aleister Black and Trick Williams was watching at ringside. Things got heated when Trick threw a drink on Sami Zayn in the middle of a match. Sami Zayn had a choice right there. Either be his usual good self, ignore it, and keep handling his business in the match, or give in to his impulsive thoughts and go after Trick Williams. And Sami Zayn actually chose the dark route here. Sami launched an attack on Trick Williams and took him out. But of course, all actions come with consequences. So since Sami was distracted with Trick Williams, this led to Aleister Black capitalizing and winning the match against Sami Zayn. The exciting part here was seeing that progression in Sami's character. He didn't wimp out after Trick threw the drink at him. Sami cheap-shotted Trick and jumped all over him. So it was great to finally see Sami Zayn give in to those dark thoughts, even if it was just a little gesture. And also add the fact that Sami Zayn still lost the match to Aleister Black. That's huge, and that loss is really going to anger Sami Zayn even more. So it's looking like we'll see more of Sami's dark side start to emerge because of all these recent incidents. As far as the immediate future goes for Sami Zayn, it's been a long time rumor that Sami versus Trick Williams would take place at WrestleMania 42, and judging off their recent interactions here on the March 20th edition of Smackdown, it appears safe to assume that there's still a high chance that match gets added to the WrestleMania card. And if it does, then that match is definitely huge for both men. For Trick Williams, it's his WrestleMania debut. He obviously wants to win that match. And Sami Zayn, he's been through such a rough patch lately that you feel like he's in desperate need of a big WrestleMania win as well. So it would be huge for both men right there. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.